Oil refinery blaze hits Cuba as fuel crisis deepens. A fire at an oil refinery in Cuba has been brought under control quickly, as the country faces a deepening fuel crisis. Black smoke clouds could be seen billowing from the icy Pez refinery in the capital, Havana, on Friday. Noon was injured and an investigation into the blaze has been established, Cuba's energy ministry said in a post on X. The fire occurred close to where 2 oil tankers had been moored in Havana Bay. A fuel shortage in Cuba has been worsened by the U.S. blocking oil shipments from Venezuela, a long-standing ally in the region, to the island. Venezuela was previously believed to have sent it around 35,000 barrels of oil a day before the U.S. military captured former President Nicolás Maduro in a raid on the Venezuelan capital, Caracas, on January 3. The U.S. also confiscated Venezuelan oil tankers, cutting off key supplies of fuel to Cuba, and pledged new tariffs on countries that sell oil to Cuba. U.S. President Donald Trump has urged Cuban leaders to make a deal or face unspecified consequences, after flows of oil and money from Venezuela were cut off. Electricity cuts have impacted hospital emergency wards, dialysis patients and pumping stations amid the latest supply shortfalls. Cuba also has a shortage of aviation fuel, leading several airlines to suspend services to the Caribbean island nation, while some countries, including the UK, have warned against non-essential travel there. Authorities have introduced fuel rationing, scaled back public services, and made temporary changes to healthcare, education, transport and tourism operations to conserve severely limited energy supplies, the UK Foreign Office warned recently. As the oil embargo continues to make life and access to essentials difficult in Cuba, 2 Mexican ships carrying 800 tons of humanitarian aid arrived in Havana Bay on Thursday. United Nations human rights experts have described Washington's restrictions on Cuba's oil imports as an extreme form of unilateral economic coercion. UN Human Rights Chief Volker Turk said he was extremely concerned about the worsening crisis in Cuba. The US and Cuba have had a strained relationship since the communist Fidel Castro overthrew a US-backed government in 1959. US economic and trade embargoes on Cuba have been in place since 1960. While steps were taken to improve diplomatic relations, particularly under former U.S. President Barack Obama, the Trump administration has reversed many of these moves. The shutdown won't affect air traffic controllers, but some TSA workers may go without pay. The U.S. president's comment comes as a second aircraft carrier heads to the Middle East to pile pressure on Iran. A Super Bowl advert had sparked new scrutiny of the smart doorbell company's privacy practices. The former CNN host and 8 others have been charged for interrupting a church service to protest immigration raids in the state. The lawsuit marks the latest clash in an ongoing legal battle between the White House and the university. Copyright 2026 BBC. The BBC is not responsible for the content of external sites. Read about our approach to external linking. You have reached the end of our in-depth report. For more deep dives into global affairs and breaking news updates, please subscribe to Neuron News Global and enable all notifications. Stay informed, stay ahead. See you in the next broadcast.